Welcome to Snipisode 15 of the Daily Dose of DMC podcast. Today is Friday, January 20th, 2023, and I'm your host, HK. Good morning, all you beautiful people, and welcome back to another Daily Dose of DMC, dedication, motivation, and commitment. It is the last day of this week, the last Snipisode for this week. And today, I actually wanted to talk about state of mind and emotions. In yesterday's Snipisode, we talked about how to deal with frustrations, and I believe that emotions and moods, they trigger a lot of things in us and how we interact with the world, choosing that higher level of consciousness when we talk about state of mind and shifting our mindset. However, today, as we head into the weekend, I thought, what a better way to end the week than to talk about an abundance mindset. So let's kick off by answering the question, what is an abundance mindset? And I believe this is an integral part of transforming our minds towards positivity. This is something I've had to learn over the years, because an abundance mindset is just, it's a way of thinking. It's how you approach life. You believe that there's enough to go around for everybody. Abundance is not limited. You're grateful for what the universe provides. You really believe, if you have this kind of mindset, you really believe, and I truly believe this, is that there's resources and opportunities and success everywhere. You're able to create that. You're not limited by any external factors or the environment. That's what an abundance mindset is. And on the flip side of that, on the other side of that coin, we have what's called a scarcity mindset. You need to understand this as well, because that's where most people fall into. A scarcity mindset is the exact opposite of an abundance mindset. It's where you believe that those resources, those opportunities, that success out there is very limited. And that is also what leads to those feelings that a lot of people have of fear and scarcity and competition and hoarding resources and feeling like they're in constant competition for those limited resources. It's like when someone gets something, they think that that leaves less for everyone else. That's what scarcity mindset is, and that's what we want to break free of. And these are the two different ways of thinking that can shift our entire perspective on life. I believe a lot of people are in a scarcity mindset. They focus on those unfulfilled needs, focusing on everything that everybody else has except them. There are people that really just think on the short term. And I believe that those kind of people, they have less fulfilling relationships because they tend to think, maybe not consciously, but they tend to think in personal gain. Whereas people with an abundance mindset, we focus on what we already have. We make peace in the present moment. Mindfulness. We're not living in that state of fear. We're experiencing life through gratitude, and we're making decisions for the future that will benefit not just us, but our entire environment. That, to me, are the two key differences. And that poses my next question, which is, do you have an abundant mindset? And I really believe there's a lot of people out there, the majority of people, who are simply held back by their minds and their mindset. And I get it. I've been down that road of negativity and phases in my life as well, but that's just how we're wired. From birth. Yeah, from birth, more or less, we're just wired for negativity. That's because we have this survival instinct in us. We don't have this happiness instinct. We've discussed this in previous Snipisodes, where there are people out there who are just naturally happy. Yes, but our minds are still wired for negativity. That's why negative news grabs our eyes and our attention so much quicker. Our mind is consistently trying to analyze those things that will hurt us, and it magnifies that. Just look at the past couple of years. So when we talk in relation about the subject of abundance, from the get-go, our minds are already wired from an operational perspective, from a place of scarcity and fear. Hence, we already have that negativity. But that's what the daily dose is. It's about transforming our minds and conveying that message over and over again, that we actually have the choice of what to focus on. And like I said in previous Snipisodes, that's what I truly believe nature has instilled in us, that one thing, that thought. So before I dive into the three things that I really think already show if you're on that path or have an abundant mindset, let me just give you a quick example to spur some thought around this topic. Let's say you're going to a nice restaurant with your spouse or your partner, and you've been recommended this restaurant. It's upscale, it's very nice, it's for a special occasion. You guys have a beautiful dinner in a wonderful environment, whatever that may be for you. The service is absolutely fantastic. And then you ask for the bill. Then you get the bill, and you look at it and your eyes just pop. That's not what you were expecting. Yeah, you were just told this is a nice place, it's a great place to go to, you just didn't know everything else around that. So my question then is, how did your mood change in that instance? Our minds focus on the negative things. We tend to focus on that in any given situation, in any given experience. So it's easier to hone in on that specific bill rather than just to immerse ourselves in that experience of just being in the restaurant with your partner, with your significant other, and just enjoying that food and the service and the ambience and whatever. That is the problem, because we focus on that negativity rather than on that gratitude and the abundance, because our brains are just wired for that. That's what I was talking about. But I truly believe that you can break free from that. I'm talking from personal experience. You can really develop an abundance mindset. And this is something that should, aside from all the other topics we've talked about, really should be ingrained into your mind. Because there's always two sides to that coin, like I mentioned before. They're available at any given time. That coin never changes. There's always heads, there's always tails. However, you get to choose which side you want. And I really hope that you choose wisely. So let me talk about the three things that I believe already show whether or not you have an abundant mindset, in my opinion, or you're on track towards that. So number one is living in the present. And you see how these things overlap? The different Snipisodes, the different topics, how that we've been talking about, they intertwine, because when you focus on gratitude and abundance, you're not worried about the future, you're not stuck in the past. You know that you're right here, right now. That is part of an abundant mindset. Number two is giving back. I really believe that people who have this scarcity mindset, they're just too busy taking in every relationship, personal, at work, whatever it may be. They're too busy taking. They want that promotion. They need that skill. They want that, and they don't give back, per se. I believe that people who are in an abundance mindset, they give their time, they give their energy, they give their skills, they give their possessions away. They love taking care of loved ones in their community. They have this abundance mindset for everyone. And that genuinely and authentically, without that subconscious, what I mentioned before, that subconscious thinking of what it's in it for me. Which leads to my third point, and that is celebrating others. I really believe that an abundance mindset is exactly the opposite of jealousy and fear, because you really believe, when you have this mindset, that people, when they have success, that doesn't detract from your own success. You're going to be just as successful because there's enough to go around for everybody. You genuinely celebrate the success of others. And I love this. I love helping other people in the corporate environment, in my day-to-day life. I regularly talk to people. People come to me and we regularly bounce ideas that they have or thoughts, or have this good discussions on topics that leads them to their goals. And I like to help people do that. I love seeing people succeed because I've experienced success. I know what it feels on what I define as success. So those, to me, are the three key areas when it comes to the abundance mindset, and if you already have that. And that leads me into my final question for today's Snipisode, and that is, how do I develop an abundant mindset? There's 3 points that I've listed down here, tips, strategies, whatever you want to call them, that I believe will help you to adopt an abundant mindset. Because like I said, I really believe that people with this mindset have greater success, they're happier, they live a fulfilled life. I really believe that it improves your relationships, it reduces stress in your day-to-day life, because I really believe that with this mindset, you've shifted, and you know that there's enough to go around for everybody. So you feel less pressure to compete. You have more freedom to collaborate. That is the big difference between competing and collaborating, especially when it comes to the workforce or your work environment. This is what's going to lead to better relationships, less stress, less anxiety. So number one that I've written down is let go of limiting beliefs. We all have limiting beliefs. That's just how we are. That's how we're raised. But we need to learn to let go of those limiting beliefs. That's an important step. That's the first step, in my opinion, to start developing that abundance mindset. Because limiting beliefs are typically those negative thoughts, that self-talk we've talked about, cinema in your head. You hear me mention that a lot. That's what holds us back from our achieving our goals and our potential. It's basically those beliefs that are instilled into us from a young age about ourselves and our abilities, or what the world around us tells us, especially today in social media, through Instagram, and how rich you got to be, how successful, and how fame and beautiful and whatnot. These are those unconscious beliefs that really hold you back, that hold us back to enjoy life to the fullest. And some of that, let me just throw out some examples here. It's really simple things like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be successful, or I'm not smart enough to do that, I can't make enough money. Those are limiting beliefs. You need to let go of those. That is the first step, like I said. And that can be done through a variety of ways, through self-reflection, through journaling, talking to people. We've discussed a couple of these things. But once you're aware of what in your mind limits you, then you can change that. And you can change that by challenging those limiting beliefs. To start, rather than saying those limiting beliefs, I want you to start shifting that and asking questions, such as, is that belief really true? Or what evidence do I have to support that belief? What could happen if I didn't believe this belief? Just those kind of questions to start shifting how your mind is thinking, which then leads into you adopting more empowering beliefs. You got to replace those limiting beliefs with those positive ones, with empowering ones. And as cheesy as this may sound at times, this is how our brains are wired. This is basically the foundations of what you got to do to transform your mind. Start setting those positive affirmations. We've talked about that. Start saying, I'm capable and worthy of success. I'm intelligent. I'm capable of learning new things. I am attracting and deserving of love. Those are empowering beliefs. And remember, it takes time for your mind to shift, because those negative things are so deeply ingrained in us. That's how we're educated. That's how we're taught from the world, our environment. That's how we're conditioned. That's number one. Number two is to be open-minded. I mentioned a little bit about this yesterday. Being open-minded is a very important aspect to developing an abundance mindset. You're basically then you're open to new ideas and opportunities. If you're open-minded, you're willing to try new things and step out of your comfort zone. You consider, when you talk to people, you consider their ideas, their perspectives, the possibilities that they set out. It doesn't mean compromising on your principles and values, but it just means being more open, being more curious, being more flexible, not being too attached to your own beliefs and opinions. Because life never goes as planned. There's always going to be surprises in life. However, if you can be open-minded and understand that change is inevitable, and that you can learn and you need to learn to embrace that change, then you're going to start shifting to a more abundant mindset. So let me give you a couple examples of how to be a bit more open-minded, because I think a lot of us say, we are open-minded, but really you're not. You're not really willing to change your thought pattern. So here are a couple things. You can seek out new experiences, information. You can listen actively to people in a conversation. You can consider alternative perspectives from that listening. So when your beliefs are challenged or a decision, try to consider like an alternative perspective or option that somebody else threw out or whatnot. Just not necessarily compromising, but that just means look at that situation from a different angle. You guys hear me say that a lot as well, that box example. Be open to change. Be curious, guys. Be very curious. That sense of curiosity and wonder. The world is absolutely beautiful. Be open to those new possibilities. Explore, experiment. Just be curious. Be open to feedback. And feedback is a topic I will cover on as well, especially coming from the corporate environment. But just be open to feedback, to constructive criticism. Feedback isn't always feedback. Remember that. But still, be willing to listen to others and just consider their point of view. And ever be constantly learning, When you're open-minded, you just see opportunities and possibilities. That's one of the mottos for my business is where others see problems, we see possibilities. That is abundance. And ultimately, number 3 is cultivate a positive attitude. Because when you have a positive attitude, you just see the good things in life rather than the bad. That's what this is all about, the DMC. We're focusing on those positive aspects of our lives and everything around us. And that's what's going to help us develop more of an abundance mindset. Those things that we've mentioned over and over again, like practicing gratitude, focusing on opportunities, focus and practice generosity, authentic generosity, being generous with your time and your resources and your talent. That's going to help you cultivate that abundance mindset. Take action in doing those things, because that mindset shift is not enough. You got to take action. You got to put in that effort. That's what's going to lead for that path to your own success in transforming your mind to more abundance. And then again, surround yourself with positive people. I reiterate that very often. So to close off today's Snipisode, practice patience while you're doing and training your mind towards an abundance mindset. That's what I want to say. Because it takes time. It takes patience. Like with all these things, it's not something that's going to be achieved overnight. Just be patient with yourself. Just trust that process. And then you'll slowly start shifting your thinking and you'll have that change in your perspective. It's just regular practice, guys. That's all it is. That's what I want to leave with you guys today. And the one question that I will pose to you for this weekend is, how do you cultivate an abundant mindset in your daily life? That's what I've written down here. How do you cultivate an abundant mindset in your daily life? If you're listening to this on YouTube, please hit the like and subscribe button. Comment on that question. Reach out to me. Share this with family and friends if you enjoyed it. If you're listening to Spotify, on Spotify, I appreciate that as well. Thank you guys so much. Have a beautiful weekend. That being said, stay dedicated, motivated, committed all day, every day.